Welcome to your journey of healing with the Healing Podcast, hosted by licensed clinician Monique Owe and co-host Dr. Amber Moan.
Thank you for tuning into the Healing Podcast. I'm your host, Monique Owe, and my co-host, Dr. Moan, is not here with me today. And today's topic is the wrong person in your ear. So before I get into the topic, I just want to thank everybody again for being a subscriber, for supporting the podcast. Please remember to like, share, subscribe, tell people about it. If you feel this may be helpful, please share it and so forth and like it. Thank you so much, and for subscribing. And just a reminder, the Healing Podcast is not a therapy session. It's just a discussion between two therapists, myself and Dr. Moan, and just about topics to give you some feedback or just give you a different thought. Maybe sometimes it maybe help you about things that cross your mind. And therapy session would be very different, right? But just wanted to get that reminder that this is just a discussion and to hopefully help you or someone that you may know. So again, getting back into the topic of the wrong person in your ear, let's say, what does this mean? This means when you're listening to the wrong type of information, how it can influence you to make poor choices, to make not so good decisions. It can cause some damage in your life. It can cause some relationships to end. It may cause you to get into the wrong relationship. It can mess with your finances, right? It can cause some health issues sometimes, because sometimes when you listen to the wrong person in your ear, you may do something that ends up being so stressful that it affects your health. So just the wrong person being in your ear is just overall something. It's going to lead to not so good moments in your life. Now, some of those moments are very brief, and then some of those moments are very long. What you want to do is just be mindful of what the things that you're allowing yourself to listen to and to apply to your life, and the things you're hearing. And now, again, the wrong person in your ear is not always a bad person in your life. It can be from a friend. It can be from a very close person. It can be from a significant other sometimes, a family member. It's just that the moment they gave you those words, that might have been the wrong person or the wrong words to listen to at that moment. So they were the wrong person to be in your ear for that particular thing. And then, of course, you have those who should not be in your ear, right? The ones who are, they don't speak with facts. They give very much opinions versus truth. They very much are just all over the place, not giving you clear guidance, or they're very much biased. So the information they share with you is biased, and it causes you to maybe make the wrong choice for your life. So remember, the wrong person in your ear is not always about a person that is negative. It's sometimes somebody you love and who wouldn't even betray you, but just in that moment, they weren't the right person to listen to. And then again, okay, of course, those people who are just, leave those people alone, people you don't need to listen to at all. And an example of this is, for example, you want to know why does this matter? It matters because when you listen to the wrong person or the wrong words at the wrong time, it can cause you to miss out on opportunities that were good for you. It may cause you to miss out on relationships. It may cause you to miss out some financial decisions that might have been good for you. It may cause you to miss out just on good things that you wanted to experience that now you may not, because you were listening to the wrong person at that time. And it's just stressful. It's nothing fun to go through, because you can miss out on some things, right? So to give an example how it's not always a negative person, it could be someone that you're really good with. So let's say, for example, you have a very close friend, and you have maybe not a best, but still a close and really close friend that you share some personal things with, things like that. And a particular day, maybe when you called this person, maybe they were very short, or they didn't seem as inviting, or just the same way that they always, they normally are. And so you kind of think about it, you get off the phone with them, you think about like, what was wrong with this person today? They seem off. And instead of you asking them directly, you may share it with another friend, like, hey, I called such and such today, and it just appeared like they had an attitude, or they seemed off, or like they were upset with me, and I'm not sure why, things like that. And that other friend, if they have an issue with that other person, maybe they don't like them too much, they can say something to you that'll cause you to cut off that other person. They may say something like, oh, that person has always been phony. That's how they are. That's why you need to cut them off, because that's how they do. Now you see their true colors. that's why they were so short with you on the phone, because now that's their true self. And you're thinking, so now, okay, now you're thinking about this. You're wondering, is that why that person was short with me? Is it because they are phony? Is it because they're jealous of me? Is it because this is their true colors? They really don't like me, so today their true colors came out. But what you didn't know is if you spoke to that person and asked them directly, hey, why did you appear short? You would find out that they may have just received some bad news about something. You may have found that they're dealing with a humongous headache, like a migraine, or they were just going through a depressive moment themselves in that moment. So when you called, you happened to catch them in the moment when they were kind of out of energy, not good, or just tired, right? And instead of you asking them, hey, why were you so short with me the other day? You've listened to the other person who told you they're phony, they're fake, they're not really your friend. And you've allowed that thought to fester in your mind. You know, that thought is just marinating over there. And you're wondering, yeah, maybe they're not my friend. Maybe I should cut them off. And next thing you know, you've cut this person off who may have been a good friend to you, but you cut them off now and you no longer interact with them. So do you see how if the wrong person at the wrong time gets in your ear, it can create a problem? Now, that other friend not liking them, that was their issue. The issue that happened that day with that other person being short, that was just something that the person was going through. And because you did not take the time to ask them directly, hear all the assumptions, and next thing you know, you're not friends. What can you do? That happens more often than not. Think about other opportunities. You may have ran something by someone about a place and a restaurant, a place you're going to visit, a destination. And because this person had a terrible experience, one thing that went wrong on the trip, one thing to them, they just completely bashed that restaurant or that location. And you're thinking, well, now I guess I can't have my celebration there. And you missed out on a place that would have been lovely for you, right? Now, that's a small thing, not too big. But do you see how if you listen to the wrong person at the wrong time, how it can cause you to kind of go astray or, just kind of miss out? Relationship issues, right? Or wrong relationship. What happens there is too. Let's say it's a person who might not be that great for you. It's probably not a good relationship, but you're wondering, but you like the person, you're kind of feeling them. And you run it by somebody and they say, yeah, you should go forward. Don't worry about people and their opinions. You should go forward and pursue that relationship. That person will be great for you. Don't worry about them being their personality being a little bit aggressive. It's just that's just their aura. That's just how they are. And you come to find out you got in a relationship with this person and they are a little bit more than just a little aggressive. They are abusive. And by you listening to that other person at that time telling you should go forward, you ended up in a relationship that was harmful to you, right? That's an extreme of what can happen. The wrong person in your ear can cause you to cut off good people in your life. It can cause you to think negative thoughts about a person that never was true, right? It can lead you down a path of deceit. It can lead you down a path of confusion. It can lead you into a path of uncertainty, and you're stuck. And now you've maybe cut off good people in your life or good situation because the wrong person at the wrong time got into your ear. Their words, their chatter got into your ear. So that is what it is when it comes to listening to the wrong person in your life. Those are the things that can happen, right? Those are the things that can take place. So you just want to be mindful of those things. Just be careful about who you're allowing in your ear, the things you're listening to, the things that you're putting yourself in the presence of, the gossiping, the chatter back and forth. Just be careful with those things because many times people's opinions of others can influence you when those things weren't even true. So you have to be careful to listen to the wrong types of things. Because think about it in your life. Let me ask yourself, has there ever been a situation where you cut off somebody that probably was good for you, or you missed out on an opportunity because somebody kind of told you it was a negative thing when you realized, wow, that could have been a good thing for me? Now, there's no need to live in regret per se, unless you've really done damage to somebody's reputation or something by you listening to the wrong person, then that you probably need to make amends and fix. But living in regret over the past, not much you can do. You can learn from it and move forward, right? So just be careful. Just be mindful of things and what you're taking personal versus asking a person directly. Because again, think about what you had to deal with afterwards when you kind of made that wrong decision just by listening to somebody. Now, even if it's something like news articles, things on social media, you'll kind of read down, if you look through some comments on certain posts, and you'll see how some people's thought process goes way out there. And if someone listens to that thought process, they can go ahead and make poor decisions in their life because they're listening to the wrong type of thought process. So you have to be very careful with that. You have to use wisdom, right? Because you don't want these things to affect you in a way where you miss out on some good things. So before I continue with this topic about what you can do to be more mindful of the information you use to make your decisions and the people you're listening to, let me go ahead and make a segue here and get into, you guessed it, the situation. So now in this case, I'm going to use a situation that I saw online. This is not one that people wrote into the Healing Podcast for. This is more so one that I thought was interesting because I know people go through this. And I'm going to kind of paraphrase this, but this is what I'll go with. The question is, what do you do when your partner says they love you and you love them, but you just can't be together? Trust has been broken on both ends. There's been disrespect, arguing, bickering, and one says they want to fight through it and the other one wants to move forward, and they're at odds. And then next thing you know, by the time the other person agrees that they want to fight for the relationship, the other one is over it. So the only option is, let's just separate. And the person says, all I can think of is, why can't we rebuild together? Why can't we help each other through this journey? If we take this journey separately, they're only going to end up meeting somebody else. Is it selfish of me to believe that it's unfair for a new person to come into their life and to get the better version of them? Okay, so let's give that a summary. So this is a person who wants to know, how come when you have basically a relationship where you both love each other, but you can't see eye to eye, and one person wants to fight through it, the other one is just like, no, let's move on, because they feel like it's not a good look for them anymore. And this other person wants to know, why can't you guys just rebuild together? Why can't you work through your issues and become better versions of yourselves with each other? Well, what I'll say with things like this is not uncommon. What happens is sometimes when some damage is done in relationships, even though you've said sorry, even though you've done the work, sometimes it won't be good for you guys to remain together. And that's the unfortunate thing about when some things happen in relationships where it can't be repaired, not with that person. That person may forgive you, they may release it, but together they won't be able to do it anymore. So while one person may want to fight through it and work on it and do what they need to do to get better, the other person is kind of like, at this point, I can't anymore. And that is just the thing that you have to accept. Sometimes you're in a different place. And yeah, guess what? Many times, think about it. If you're throughout life, you're hopefully improving yourself each year. Even if you have setbacks, you're hopefully learning to do better than you did before. So most times in every new relationship, that person's going to get a better version of you than an ex had. Most times. Okay. Or at least a different version of you. So it is very true. Yeah, you're right. This person is right. The other person will get a better version of them. And it may seem unfair, but that is how life goes. A person evolves. They change. And that other person will get that person. But think about it. Same thing for you. You're going to meet somebody who is a better version of who they were in the past. So you would hope that through relationships you can work through the bumps and the bruises, the ups and downs. But sometimes some things are so damaging. Because in this case, they said, the trust had been broken. They were arguing. They were bickering. They were being disrespectful. And sometimes just that constant arguing, the bickering, the disrespect, the lack of trust, it becomes too much to deal with. It's too much to bear. It's too stressful. So yeah, sometimes you just have to move on. So what you do in that situation for this person, if you find yourself in this predicament, is if it's been just so much arguing and discord and just you guys can't see eye to eye and you've tried and even though there's good days, very good days and good moments, but then those other days it's just terrible and it's very stressful when you compare it, the good days in comparison to the stressful days outweigh the good, it's probably time to move on. And it's unfortunate you feel like, why can't the person just get together with you and be patient? But it won't happen that way always. And that's okay. So main thing is, if you're having that type of struggle, where things are very just where you can't see eye to eye and you don't know what to do and it's no peace, it is time to move on, unfortunately. And yes, you will become a better version of you and they will become a better version of them. And yes, the new people you guys meet will benefit from the better version of yourselves. Okay? If you ever want to write into the Healing Podcast and share your situation, please email support@thehealingpodcast.com and you can contact us that way with your situation. And before I continue, a word from our sponsor, Healing Expressions.
Are you someone who has been considering therapy? Perhaps someone else has told you that you need to talk to a therapist. Or maybe you're in a relationship and you want to discuss some challenges that you've been facing with your significant other. Maybe there's a communication issue, perhaps an incident of infidelity. Or maybe you just want to strengthen your relationship because you guys are thinking about taking another step. Maybe you're struggling with anxiety or depression, perhaps grief, life stressors, and you just want to share your thoughts with someone. Well, consider contacting Healing Expressions. Healing Expressions is a private practice located in the Atlanta, Georgia area. You will be given a session at an affordable price with a licensed therapist. If this resonates with you, consider going to healingexpressionsllc.com, reading about the practice, and hitting the contact tab to see if you can book a session. All right, thank you so much. And back to the Healing Podcast.
Okay, so back into the topic, the wrong person in your ear. So as I discussed, the wrong person in your ear is just going to lead you down the wrong path. Why is that important? Why do you have to consider this? Because you don't want to make wrong decisions in your life. Yeah, we all make mistakes. That's part of life. But you don't want to keep making decisions that make you miss out on things because you just were too quick to listen to the wrong type of information. You have to use some wisdom with things. You have to be mindful of how quick you share things sometimes. You have to be mindful that when you hear something, use a little bit of pause for a moment and think about it. Does this seem to fit? Does the information I heard fit the person I'm hearing it about? How many assumptions are made that when we assume something about someone has nothing to do with you, but you assumed it versus asking the question? I mentioned how in the example I gave how the person made like a grimace or a face, and somebody else got into that person's ear and convinced them, oh, that person doesn't like you, they're fake. Well, again, remember, the person could be dealing with a migraine. It had nothing to do with you. They just in that moment were dealing with this migraine or this pain, and the grimace was about the pain they were experiencing, not about you, but you took it personal, and the wrong person influenced you to cut that person off. You see what I'm saying? Things like that happen all the time, even with jobs. Be very careful. Oh, this person said this to you about you, and this is what they said. Hold on. Think about it. Think about the person they're sharing the information about. Is that their style? Do they appear to be that person? Do they appear to be that type of, that way? Observe a little bit. Take some time to observe somebody. Take some time to think and pause. Is this person known to lie to me? Is this person known to have behavior of lying? Or is this person always honest and upfront? Is this person pretty much sincere? Look at the comparison, The unfortunate thing about this day and age is with social media, things go viral and everything like that. And people will slander people and will toss people away because of the wrong information that's shared. How many times do we hear stories? See, the negative comments are very loud. They go all over, right? But the retraction or the truth, or when somebody comes back, oh, that was a lie, it wasn't true about this person. You don't hear those things as loud. Those things don't get shared as much as the other things, the negative things. So you just have to be mindful. Know the person that you're hearing the thing about. Use your wisdom and then you make a decision. Don't react. So how do you deal with not hearing the wrong person in your ear? Be careful not to share everything. Some things you can be guarded about. Not isolate, not that. But some things you're like, let me take a moment before I share this and just really think about it. Sometimes go ask a person. You have a problem with somebody, go ask them directly and share it, because maybe what you're thinking is not what it is. If you do need to share it with somebody because you need an opinion, take their opinion and think about that thing. I'm going to say pray on it, right? Think about it. Is this true? What this person gave me, is this good information? And it could be, but what if it's not? Just be mindful. Like somebody wants you to go somewhere, they really want you to go and you should go, and you're feeling like, no, I don't think I should go. Use your wisdom. Maybe you shouldn't go. Versus go. See what I'm saying? Use your wisdom. Don't listen to the person saying, yeah, you should go. And even though you're tired and you know how you feel, you listen to that other person. Now you went and now you done got sick because that extra stress from you going cause a major problem. So you know what? Only thing I'm going to say is how to deal with this. Use some wisdom. Use some patience. Before you react, pause and think about the information you just heard. And does it really apply? Does it seem logical? Did you mishear something? Did they mishear something? Are you taking how they feel and trying to apply it to, and it's affecting how you feel? Think about those things. So the only thing I'm going to tell you is to pause, give it a moment, take your time before you make certain decisions, and just make sure always to do what's best for you. And what's best for you sometimes means you won't listen to other people's opinion. You're going to go with your gut. You're going to go with your own intuition, the way you feel about it, and go forward. Because the worst thing is to have listened to somebody who didn't mean you good, or who was just completely off, and now you've just kind of missed out on something because you may not be able to get that good thing back, or whatever that situation is. So I hope that's been helpful to you about being careful about who you listen to or what you listen to at that moment or in time. And I will leave you with this. It is the mark of an educated mind to be able to entertain a thought without accepting it. That's by Aristotle. Again, it is the mark of an educated mind to be able to entertain a thought without accepting it. I thank you as always for tuning into the Healing Podcast, and we will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.